All right, this question we'll go over number 93, the word problem about reduced rates. So the question reads: a college charters a bus for 1,700 to take a group of students to see a Broadway production. When 6 more students join the trip, the cost per student decreases by $750. How many students are in the original group? Okay, so we have $1,700 divided amongst a group of students. So we'll call that X. So 1,700 over X, where X is the original number of students, is going to cost a certain amount of money that we don't know. We'll say C, right? It costs C dollars. So we got 2 variables. That C is going to be the original cost per student. Okay? Then we can rewrite a similar equation by using the new amount of students, which is going to be 6 more than the original amount. So if you take $1,700 and split it amongst X plus 6 students, all right, so the original amount of students plus 6 more students join the trip, the cost per student is going to be reduced by $7.50. Okay? So I just kind of read the 2 sentences and made 2 equations. Now we have to solve. Now we have a system, and we could substitute. We could take C and replace it with this here. So we have 1,700 divided by X plus 6, which represents the cost per student after you add the 6 more people, equals 1,700 divided by X, which is the original amount, which is more expensive. So we subtract $750 because it was exactly $7.50 more expensive. And then we get this equation right here. All right. Now it's a word problem, so I would just solve it with the solve function on the calculator. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you would multiply everything by X times X plus 6, and you'd get 1,700X equals 1,700 times X plus 6 minus 7.5 times X plus 6. Multiply all that out, get a quadratic, and solve using the quadratic formula or factoring. But at some point, you probably can't factor. Maybe you could. You're going to probably use a calculator anyway. So at that point, you might as well just use one right from the beginning. All right, so for word problems, I'll never discourage you from using a calculator, unless it's very simple numbers, but then you can still use a calculator to check it. But these are not very simple numbers. So we're going to go to the home screen, add a new document, add a calculator. All right, I'm going to type in the original equation, not the one in green, because if I made a mistake, then I'll get the wrong answer. I'm going to go menu, algebra, solve, type in the equation, so control division, okay, 1,700 over X plus 6 equals control division, 1,700 over X minus 7.5, and then comma X. And we get negative 40 or 34, okay? So that's because the domain of X was the number of students, has to be greater than or equal to 0. You can't have a negative amount of students, so we would disregard the negative 40, and we go at 34. And 34 students is the original amount of students. Make sure we're answering the question correctly. The question asked how many students are in the original group, so the answer is 34. All right, and then we could check our work kind of using common sense here. All right, if you want to know the original cost per student, you could do 1,700 divided by 34, and we get that it was $50 per student. Okay, well, when you add 6 students, so 1,700 divided by 40, that's 34 plus 6, you get 85 over 2, which as a decimal would be 42.5, which is exactly $7.50 less than the original cost. So it makes sense because they said when you add 6 students, it's going to go down by $7.50. So we checked our work and it checks out. And that's it.